Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the new people. We're going to get to know you in a second and see who you are. I am Moran. The only thing I always say about myself, because it's embarrassing for Lita to say that about me, so I have to tell you that, is that I speak very fast. This conference is actually 5 days. You just wouldn't know it. I'm honored to welcome you to the 29th gathering. Actually, PopTech started in 1994. If you do the numbers, it should be more than 29. We had a few years gap in between. Some pandemics, I hear, stopped that. But it's really great to have the community come back again and again to a venue where we get to see each other, we get to spend time, think, learn, engage, and come up with ideas and plans for the next year. The fact that it happens every year is really a seminal thing. We can kind of look back at where we were October last year and see where we are this year. There are always kind of people that come different, pregnant. If you do the numbers, somewhere between the evening of the first day and the second day, there are babies conceived here in DC. If you're single, that's the time you have until maybe 9 p.m. to start planning for next PopTech number 30, who you're going to bring free tickets for those who bring +2. From election happened just after PopTech. This, when I looked at kind of events of the year, definitely was a seminal moment. When we were here last year, a lot of discussions were about where things are going to go with the country. Now we have a year to look at that and see what we like about that. Actually, last year, PopTech was held at the Kennedy Center, now known as the Melania Trump Center. And you know, this place is now still studio theater, but if you look at the past PopTech, maybe this would be Eric Trump's center next year, or something like the line. We keep changing and trying to align with how the world works with us. There are a lot of things that happened on the global sphere, record climate change, a lot of dynamics in Europe, elections in many countries. This was the most elections per year since last year. But I think we can all agree that the most important thing was that now Taylor Swift is engaged. That was like a big kind of drama from 2024 to 2025. I usually save the roasting / summaries / thank you to the very end of this thing, but I wanted to make sure that I don't overlook that and say that you see me in the front and coming back and forth, but really I should say PopTech is a one-man show organized fully by Lita. The thing that you see here, everyone but Lita is surprised about. So when we show up, we think, okay, how kind of who spoke to the AV team and who made sure that the lights worked like this and who chose the font for this thing. And at some point, all of that is really one woman who's running this. And she's been doing it for a while now. I'm going to second see how many of you have been here enough time to see that. But I would say that that is a thing that instead of waiting for the thanks at the end, you should every time something works, you should know that there was a woman who spent time thinking about it and predicted all the things that could not work and took care of that. So really, all the other things you could write to the end. 29 years. Some of you are younger than PopTech. We'll see in a second how many are there. But when PopTech started in 1994, it was really a concept that I think was new, different, and unusual. It was started by two dudes, John Scully and Bob Metcalfe. John at the time was the CEO of Apple for an interim period before and after going to Pepsi. His story was made into movies, so if you know anything about the dynamics of Apple back in the days, John Scully is postered on it. And his friend, Bob Metcalfe, some of you may have seen him if you've been here in the last couple of years. He comes again and again and gives talks about where the world is, because he is one of the people who paved the road to the internet, inventing the internet and getting Turing Award just 2 years ago for that. Those two friends decided to get together and invite their friends to a place. They thought, what would be a good venue? No, they didn't. They just said, what's close to us? They both lived in Camden, and they said, that would be a great place to bring everyone to us. bus. So back then in Camden, in Maine, they flew a lot of people, and it was called PopTech because really they tried to merge technology with popular world. Now you are kind of less surprised by that, but back then the idea that all the tech leaders get together on the same stage, talk about future ideas was remarkable. I think some people here who were into PopTech back in the early days may have seen the first PC at PopTech, or the first time that I saw a computer game in colors was at PopTech. It was really a place that tech people gathered. Over the years, it evolved, changed, took different shapes, and I think that it's really nice to see where it's going and how it's responding to the times and really always at the forefront of a lot of ideas. Many people who have spoken at PopTech are now people that you see throughout the day in different venues as journalists, as TV people, as politicians, as leaders of companies or organizations that really spearhead. So it's really a place that has history and a lot of future. Who here is younger than 29? Raise your hands. Okay, let's take you, young lady. How old are you?
I'm 22.
22. Next to you is?
25.
25. Let me tell you something about the 90s. So when I talk about computers at PopTech, those were green and black screens. The font that was chosen for PopTech, this was an advanced font. Back then, it has like squares and almost like triangles. The people that gathered at PopTech couldn't imagine many of the things that we are dealing with today in tech world, in politics, and I think in many ways it's nice to see the old guard that I hope you get to meet and ask them how PopTech was back then to get a sense of kind of how much we evolved. PopTech.org, the website, and PopTech YouTube channel show you some of the talks from the past, and you can really see a lot of the predictions of where we are today in talks that were given many, many decades ago, again, before some of you were born. Okay, so there are a few things that I learned about being 29. First of all, I learned that from a technology that is new, so give it some, might not be true fully, but first of all, in many countries, among them the US, that's the last year you are qualified for a cheap car rental. From next year, for you, that's it. The prices are going to go up when you start. If you're trying to run for Senate, which you can be only done at age 30, you typically have to announce at 29, so that's the year to kind of like start preparing if you're running for office in a higher seat, starting the campaign right now. That's your last chance to do it. It's the last year you can get a low life insurance. I don't know what it is, but it's not what I think it is. It's not I think it's probably low life insurance. Not. I also read last night when I was trying to kind of learn about things that I can't remember, and maybe you can try to monitor that before and after. Hangovers apparently feel different between ages 29 and 30. Something biologically happened, and hangovers are not the same. So if you can make sure that you try one at 29 and one day, and then do it a year after, see if it really is the fact. Apparently, you change group categories in both Tinder and Grindr. There's like up to 29, and then you're going to a different category. You're now in the 38-year-olds. So you really, like, you're totally, why not just have a slider for all ages? I don't know, but apparently this is the case. And generally, there are a lot of research on round birthdays. So somehow, even though it's just arbitrary why we choose to count to 10, mostly because of our fingers, people attribute a lot of meaning to round birthday, 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on. So a lot of people apparently have semi-midlife crises at 29. There's a large number of people who run marathons at the age of 29 or 39 or 49. They're kind of thinking, okay, next year something's going to happen, so this year is the year to run for a marathon. I think the New York one is in 3 weeks. Still have time to prepare if you're not there. A lot of people call this the years of the 29, 39 zone, years of self-reflection. And do things like quit jobs, remarry, and stuff like this. That's the year to also apparently pick new hobbies. A lot of people at the age of 29 pick new hobbies. If you don't have one in mind, I think in the next 24, 48 hours, you will find a lot of things that you can join and stand behind. Okay, now is the time to get to know some of you here. Who here has been to PopTech before? Raise your hand, keep it up. Who has been here? Keep your hands up if you've been here more than once, twice, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, 12 times. How many years do I have to go back to lose you?
Me?
Yes.
I don't know. 20, right?
20.
I have a house.
You just like when Camden left the opera, you just stay there, and then I told you just move to DC now, and you move between.
Got on a fishing boat.
Who here is at PopTech for the first time? Raise your hand. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Keep your hands up. The person next to you who has been here before, look at them, recognize their faces. Normally, I would let you guys talk to them right now, introduce them, but at this I learned, I say do it for 2 minutes and get to know them, but then it takes 10 minutes to get you back. So just pay attention to who is there, and in the first break, this is a chance for you to get to welcome them, as in get to know their names, ask them where they're from, what made them come here, and so on. And I'm not just saying that, to be polite, there's gonna be a quiz afterwards. So if everyone can approve, can just guarantee to come and take the same seat where they were after the first break, I will find the person next to you and I will ask them about you. So prepare to know their favorite color and the most intimate thing about them that you think I could ask. Who thinks that they came from the farthest? Flew the most, or we have one candidate here. Anyone else contended? Where did you come from?
Israel.
How many hours?
Yeah, I don't know. 18?
How many hours on the tarmac at DCA? Yes, there's a government shutdown. I'm sure it's going to come back in next year's summary of this year. Who thinks they speak the most languages in this room? Let's start. More than 2. More than 3. How many?
4.
Which ones?
English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Nahuatl, which is the native language from where I come from in Panama.
So that's 5.
And
And Python. Okay, anyone can beat 4 to 6? Just, how do you say popular technology in? I don't know what to call it. No, in the one that I don't know what language is in speaking in Panama.
language do you use?
I English in front of you. Yeah. I'm supposed to ask the question. That's like a. See.
There's not really a name for it in Nahuatl, but popular is Kumukusa, means like all of the people.
Mhm.
Popular.
So there's no word for popular.
No word for technology.
Oh. That shapes a little bit of culture, no? Like not having a word for something means that it's hard to do it. Interesting for me. Who here speaks a language that no one else speaks, they think? What language is that?
Taiwanese? I don't know.
I think there's going to be at least one more person that I know, because they're going to be on the stage talking about Taiwan. So I think that at least one. Tibetan. How do you say technology in Tibetan?
Chuja.
Okay, close enough to. What word do you think does not exist in Tibetan that you think should exist, after having been in the US?
Almost everything. Translated Buddha's text.
So he didn't think about technology back then, 2,000 years ago. He did.
Words were there.
Very nice. Who think that they have gone through the most unexpected, let's start with ideally positive, in the last year? Something to say, I did not see it. PopTech 28, I sat here and I thought this would never happen in 2029. By 2029, what experience is that? I'm looking at you.
Why would you be looking at me?
Just the hair, like, the nice haircut. Okay, so as Lita said, the theme for this year's PopTech is Enigma. Now, themes for conferences are a bit of a thing. It's not that it requires every speaker to say something about Enigma, but it kind of shapes the thinking of the speakers and of the audience of what to come. When I think about DC, I think of a show that used to run 26 years ago. I was younger back then, almost as young as PopTech, called The West Wing. This is how I thought about DC when I was a kid. This is what I knew at DC. I watched this and I learned how things really work in a government. And the writer of The West Wing says that writers struggle sometimes coming up with ideas for an episode or for a book, but there's a moment that he calls when the ball hits the bat. And he refers to baseball players that when they have a home run hit, they just feel it right when the ball hits the bat. They just know this one is going to be a home run. This was Enigma for us. I think Lita called me with a few ideas, and she liked one, and I liked one, and and then when she said Enigma, we just both knew this is the one. Enigma is, that's my chance to use a slide, is a word and a machine. Literally, the word from Greek means riddle, but I think it came to fame when this machine here became a thing during World War II. At the end of World War I, a German engineer invented the first Enigma machine. It was used first in World War II as the coding system that the Germans used to hide information. It was the most advanced technology in terms of coding at the time. Even to date, it's still regarded a sophisticated way of coding information. The magic thinking behind this one was that it has those 3 rotors in the back that you can move, and this meant that for the 26 characters you can type into it, every time you type a character, it was encrypted differently. There were 150 quintillion options to how many ways you can encode one thing, and it seemed like the impossible machine to break. In fact, it was known as the impossible machine to break. The Germans trusted it so much that they said everything on that, and when it was broken by the British mathematician Alan Turing, it basically gave the Allies access to all of the information behind the scene. 150 quintillion options is 1.5 and then 10 with 20 zeros. It's more than the number of particles in the universe, or even more than the number of emails that you have in your inbox right now. That's how many it is. When Alan Turing broke it, he was 29. And I think in many ways, Alan Turing's story is kind of the story of Enigma, a young kid, a gay person who at the time was in the closet, but also was proud of it. And when he had to go through basically treatment for that, which was the go-to option back then, he lost his personality and killed himself. A person who back in 1936 already imagined AI and wrote papers about that described how AI would work, later on named after him as the Turing test, the test that some of you who are into the world of AI think of as a hallmark to when machines will be intelligent. A test that was actually passed for the first time in 2014, and since then many, many times. And in a way, since you're going to hear about technology in the first session a lot, is a testament to how humans think. We thought that there was going to be a test, and when the machine passed this test, we're going to call them intelligent. They did pass the test, and all we said is like, yeah, the test wasn't good. Let's move the goalpost a little further and invent a new test. And when the machine passed this new test, we kept moving the goalpost. Something about the fact that we constantly move the goalpost when machines get to where we put the goalpost makes us think that we just don't want them to be intelligent. Literally, the test that everyone is looking at right now as the hallmark of intelligence is called humanity's last frontier. And when this one will be passed, maybe by the end of tomorrow, I think we're just going to come up with a new test. So Alan Turing's story as a 29-year-old is, in a way, a great way to open the conference. It's a story about how to solve puzzles. It's a story about mystery. It's a story about curiosity, about consistency, and again and again trying to solve a riddle. It's also a story about how predictable we are. The only way to crack the enigma was to know something about the mentality of the people on the other side, know how predictable they are, and use this against them. And in one way, to me, it's a reminder that everything can be deciphered and that nothing is beyond us if we come together with a mission and a lot of technology to help us.